Hello again, everyone. So before I start, just letting you know that obviously I forgot to press my microphone on my camera, so I'm having to do a separate audio. Anyway, I've got in this beautiful GHD Helios hairdryer. Um, Problem with it is I'm not getting. It's working when I plug it in, so it's working. So I've put it on my first speed, and that's absolutely fine. I've put it on the first heat setting while it's on, and that's fine. When I come to put it on to the second heat, um, it starts blowing cold, and also the hairdryer speeds up to the second heat setting. So yeah, there's a lot going on, which is a little bit confusing. Um, so yeah, so I'm just testing it now. So it's like I say, it's going on the first heat setting with the first speed, and that's absolutely fine. Um, it's doing fine there. As soon as I put it on to the second heat setting, that's when it goes cold, and then it speeds up as if I'm pressing the cold shot button. So yeah, uh, little bit of a strange one, something a little bit out of the ordinary, I guess. So yeah, I plan to have a look at the switch. I'm thinking it is the switch. Um, so yeah, I'm unplugged. So let's get into it. So first things first, I need a small flat screwdriver just to get under the trim piece down at the bottom. Once you've got once you've actually got under it, you can then take the other little. It just clips in, so you can just once you've got one clip out, it's not too bad. So I'll take the bit that hasn't got the hanging hook, take that off, the one opposite that first, and then the hanging hook trim piece, take that off last 'cause it's just a little bit trickier. That's all. Uh, so underneath there, you've got two crosshead um, screws that are just holding the bottom of the hairdryer outer casing down. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get all the bits that I need. So I need a tiny little, you can probably see it there. It's a flathead, really thin. Because what I need to do now is take this piece out. I'll zoom in a little bit, I think, here. Just bear with me. There we go. So this little cover here, underneath there, there's a screw. It's a security screw. To get that cover off, it's a pain in the arse. So I get the thinnest one that I can. I then attack it at a 45-degree angle, and I try and press it as hard as I can so that it goes into the side of that piece. You'll see in a second. And because it's a nice sharp flat uh, screwdriver bit, it goes nicely into there. Doing them, it does a little bit of damage, but it's minimal damage. I can't get anything on there though. That's the thing. I can't get like a little sucker on to suck it out or whatever. But yeah, so underneath there is a security bit. So I call them U bits because it just looks like a U really. So yeah, let's take all the screws out. So I'll take the flathead. I'll take the Phillips out first. There's one, then the other one. So they're out, and I'll swap the bits, and then I get that security bit out. You'll be able to see I don't think you'll be able to see the screw head really, but I'll show you the bit that I use for it. Yeah, So that's the bit, I call it U bit, so whatever, everyone else calls them. So now they're out. I pull it out at the bottom end first where the cable comes in, just separate that bit first, and then you just pull it apart, and then it'll just unclip itself then from around the top. Sometimes they're dead easy to do, sometimes they take a little bit of force, but just persevere with it. As long as you got the 3 screws out, it'll come off no problem. So yeah, looking inside, a little bit dusty, but nothing too bad. The motor's not jammed up, that's all turning, that's fine. So the issue is, I think, under that switch there. So getting these switches out can be a pain in the arse. They come out, don't get me wrong, but they can be a bit of a pain in the arse to get out. So you just got to lever one side out and then go to the other side, lever that side out. But then sometimes the first side goes back in, so it's just, I haven't done these for a while, so it's just getting that knack back in, I guess. So let's see if I can fast forward through this little bit. Right, there we go. We're out. I didn't fast forward it, obviously. So yeah, you want to keep, there's 2 parts to that switch. There's the bit that's got the decals on, that say what speed it is, and then that comes away from the actual bottom bit that pushes the contacts down. So looking down on there, you can see the top one. The bottom one there is moving, that's fine. The top one has welded itself to the contact, and that's just with it sparking. For quite a while it's been sparking, and eventually it's just welded itself to the contact. So I'm just getting underneath that now, prising it apart, and it's, to be fair, they do come out and it's fine. So as you can see there, that's moving now, just like the bottom one. But if I pull that up, and then you'll be able to see the actual damage that it's done. It's a little bit hard to get on camera, to be fair, especially this shitty camera I've got. But that bit there, that should be nice and clear, just like the end of my tweezers should be nice and clear and clean. Just trying to get a torch on there as it zooms in, or as it focuses, should I say. We can see there on my fingers all the crap that's coming off it, so that all needs to be cleaned up. And then in fact, let's have a look. If you look down there, that's all black. Around the top there, that's all black. That should be nice and clean. You should be able to see a little metal pad on there. So I've got some microscope footage. Let me just show you. It's footage from when I've cleaned it up, so I'll show you that in a minute. So all I'm doing there now, I'm just getting my grinding pen on that, and just cleaning everything up. Then I'll get a cotton bud, and I'll give everything else a good clean up. So right, let's stop it there a second. Right, back again. So I'm just cleaning all the carbon, just trying to give that a bit of a clean, the cotton bud and a bit of IPA. So yeah, sorry it's all off camera a little bit, but I'm just trying to get as much of that carbon cleaned away from both contacts, from the contact that I've got up in the air now to the bottom bit where it actually makes an electrical connection at the bottom of the switch. So as you can see there now, the bottom of the switch is pretty clean. Down there, at least you can see it now. So that's pretty good actually. And the top there, you can just see it's looking a lot better than it did before I did it. You know, when it was all black and all crappied up. So that's all it needs. That's all your switches do. So it just makes contact when you put your when you move your switch to the next position. It just moves the contacts or two contacts in, depending what it is, and that just pushes onto there, and then you just get a different heat setting or a different speed setting, etc. So yeah, that's basically how these switches work. To be fair, they're quite a simple switch, but they do get um, over time, you know, when they're switching on and off, and it's at the end of the day, it's 240 volts. So it's, yeah, it's just switching constantly like that. So yeah, so I've now noticed as well the piece on the side, it's like a little wedge shape. What that does, that just makes sure that copper track just goes squarely in the middle, and they both make an electrical contact in the middle. So because everything was burnt, it's just melted the side of that little bit. So I'm just getting my grinding pen off camera and just making that smooth again. So because when I was pushing it down, it's just sticking slightly, and that over time that'll just make that contact just stick down and do exactly what it did. So as you can see now, it's going down with no issues at all. So yeah, it's I think I'll try it all again. I'm just going to show you under the microscope actually. You can see a little bit of black uh, still on there, but that's on the top, so that's not an issue. As long as everything, all the contacts underneath, as you can see there, it is all clean. That's nice contact material again. It's a little bit hard showing the actual top bit, but let's have a look, see what I can do. So before that was all dirty, and as you can see now, it's clear, it's clean. So them two clean contacts now are going to make a really nice electrical connection. So yeah, hopefully that'll do it. So it's just a matter now of just putting it all back together, I guess. So let's try it, let's do that and see what happens. So I just put my switch back, making sure it's in the right orientation with that little pip down at the bottom, because that denotes the off position of the heat. So yeah, let's click it all back together, make sure it's working, and then we'll get the hairdryer back, and then we'll just give it a test really. That's all we need to do, just test it and see if that has fixed it. So all I do now, I make sure I put the hairdryer back. I put it in the bottom first, make sure it fits into its little slot, make sure both your switches come through, give it a tap on. It's not quite right on there because you've got a big gap going down that seam. So I take it off again. Sorry about the focus. There we go. Zoom out. So make sure that your cold button switch is in its housing, because that's quite a pain if that comes out. Sometimes you'll let go of it and it'll just come out of its housing. So just make sure that that's all in, all your wires, like that little cable there. Make sure that that is tucked in. It's got its own little cable clamp in there. Just put the bottom in. Make sure your switches come through. Give it a tap on top. As you can see now, that's perfect. That seams all together. So yeah, if you had a gap in it, you know it's not right. So just have a look around. Once you get your screws in, that'll be fine. So I'll just test my switches, make sure they're not caught, make sure that they're seated correctly, and they're fine, they seem alright. So I'm not going to put the screws back in. All I'm going to do now is just plug it back in. Sorry about my head. Get the plug, put it back in, and then test it. So I know you can't hear it and I know you can't see it, but I've turned it on. That's the first speed setting. Then the heat, that's fine, I'm getting heat out of it. Then I go to put it on the high heat, and then it just goes again. It's doing exactly the same thing. So take it all apart again, blah blah blah, take your switch out. I'm unplugged, so I'll take the switch apart again, then have another look at it. I'm having a look at that. I can't see anything wrong with it, really. So yeah, it's a little bit of a head scratcher is this one. What I am thinking of doing though is just maybe putting a little bit of solder on the top piece. What I do though, I just check all my contacts now. So I'm checking the other contact, making sure that's all clean, and it was fine, but I'm just making sure everything's right with it. So yeah, everything looks fine as it should do, and it should all work. There's nothing sticking, there's nothing wrong with the heat side of the switch. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. It's just, yeah, I'm just trying to just check everything and make sure that I haven't missed anything simple. So yeah, so then I decide just to have a look at the actual speed selector switch. And yeah, it's surprising actually. It was okay, but it was still burnt out. As you can see, that the top one there's burnt a little bit. Not burnt out massively, but there is a bit of carbon on there. So I've just got to. I'm just thinking, well, clean that up first, make sure everything's right with it, and then just take it from there. I think this is a part of the video where the sound comes back, so I'm just going to hand it back to the actual sound and see what happens. So yeah, clean that up a little bit, even though it's fine now actually. That's fine. Let's see what this is like. Let's see if I can try and film this. Where are we? There it is. Let's see what it's like if I clean that up. You can see all that crap. That crap has come off, but it's just slightly pitted in that contact, so I'm just going to clean that up. It's a bit hard to film this. So, there we go. So let's clean that up. There we go. So I could, in theory, just pop a little bit of solder on there. What I tend to find is sometimes if you put too much on, it's quite hard to get it back level again. They're fine, right. let's try that again. Let's turn that off. Right, so as you can see under the microscope cam then, they were a bit dirty, a bit pitted. Yeah, that's fine in there. That's fine in there. Like I say, it'd be nice if I could buy these switches, but for a reasonable amount of money, you just can't. And for the sake of just cleaning the contacts up, 9 times out of 10, that's all it needs. Right, try again. Right, plug it in. Yeah. Right. So, as you heard them, still a little bit. I'm unplugged again. So what I'm thinking now is the switches are fine. I just need to have a look at the heating element on it. So for that I need to take this off. Right, just going to come in here again. So I'm stripping everything down, as you can see. I'm testing everything on that heating element. I'm just checking all the wires coming from the switch to the circuit board and then up to the heating element. Everything looks fine on it, so I've no issues there. I do turn my attention to the back of the switch, just to make sure everything's that when I'm pressing the switch, that it does actually make a contact with the back of the circuit board on the switch. So yeah, I just didn't want to come through all this and waste all this time. So we'll pick it up again, where I then decide to just have a look at the back of the switch. I just test that switch on all the positions. Right, so we're off at the minute, so we shouldn't, none of these should be. Oh, so both are down at the minute, I think. So if I put a number on the first setting, and if I put on to both settings, both of these should be lit up, the continuity of them. But it's not, it's all there. So it's that again, it's that side that's not working. So I think it just needs a little bit of solder on there. I think that's just way too warm. Right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on here. So it only needs to tiny a little bit, so we don't want to be going too far with it. Bit of flux. Clean the tip. little bit of solder on it. So let's just, there we go. Nice little fresh ball of solder on there. I don't know if that's coming across on there or not. Just show it. Yeah, so I'm just putting a fresh ball of solder on there, just to lift that up a little bit, because maybe that was a little bit. It might just not be enough. And what I've done before is actually just bend the end of that a little bit. But I think it could just be that, you know. Right, so all this messing about, and I tried it, I put it back on, didn't work. Found out the actual piece on the switch was fine, both switches were absolutely fine. I found the actual switch itself that you put your thumb on, yeah, and you push that down. I found that was melted there, so as you can see it should be like the unmelted side, but it's not. I'm gonna get we'll get another switch just to compare it to it, but that's melted. So when you flick your switch, it's not actually pushing the contact down. It should be pushing that contact down, but because it's melted, yeah, it's just going into that void, and it's not quite making a contact. So yeah, after all that messing about, it was actually down to that little bit of plastic that had been melted, and obviously the contacts that were burnt and that were all in a rough state. So I've done them. Everything on the switches I'm happy with. Everything internally, like your heating element, all your wires, your circuit board, absolutely perfect, no problem. It's just down to that little bit of melted plastic on your actual switch. Now, I have had this before, like a couple of times before. So let me show you now. Let me bring in another switch. Let me have a look. Let me bring in another switch now from the Air 1 hairdryer. I'm thinking there now, do I just melt it all back in and then get my grinding pen and just flatten it off and get a rough shape? I've got little needle files that I can just add a little bit of plastic to it. But yeah, I'm just in my head now. I'm just toying with ideas of what to actually, what I can actually do with it. So I'm just going off now, and I'm just trying to find another switch that I can compare it to. So just bear with me on this now. Let me get that other switch. So the one on the left is off a GHD Air 1. The one on the right is the one that I'm having trouble with, off this Helios hairdryer. So as you can see, side by side, you can see what's melted, and it's quite a chunk there. So it's like half of that piece down at the bottom is missing. It should be nice and flat like that, with just a little curve on the top there. That bit there is smaller. So as you can see though, yeah, it's quite a chunk out of that. So what I do now is find You know, I'm trying in my head. I'm just thinking, right, let's put some more plastic in there, grind it down, blah blah. Or do I get some super glue, bit of baking soda, and then just build it up there and then flatten it off? I think the quickest and the best way to do this is purely just put this switch in from the uh, air dryer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that one now and then just test it in the hairdryer and just see how it all goes. Right, so I've got everything back together. I've put that new switch in from the GHD Air 1. That's all then. It's working fine. So yeah, everything else is alright. Just double checking now that everything's working. I'm just taking off as well the piece that the operator would see, just because it looks a lot better than the other one. The other one's a little bit. Um, it's got it's got some missing digits on it anyway. Right, so I'll swap that over, put that on, and then I think I'll pop it all back together. There's not much more really to do with this. It's just a matter of putting it all back together and testing it. Once it's been tested, well, I think we're fine then. So yeah, let's just put it all back together and then I'll test it. So yeah, just quickly put it back together. You might see I messed up putting it back the first time, so second time lucky. There we go. Right, we're all back together. Just a matter of plugging it in now, and then just giving it a quick check. Obviously, again, you're not going to hear it. Oh god, my setup on the camcorder, it's doing me head in. But anyway, it's blowing on both settings. Um, it's working normally. The cold shot button's working. Um, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that actually, because it's a lovely hairdryer. Um, and I'll have no bones in selling that. I'll have no qualms in the integrity of it. It's nice and safe. So yeah, for the sake of that little bit of plastic on there, and the fact that um, that switch was stuck, it was all full of carbon, it all needed cleaning, but it's going to need that anyway. It's only a switch with a small piece of copper, really, so it's bound to affect it. This is probably about 5, 6 years old, something like that. So you've got to wonder how many times it's been going on and off throughout all them years. So it's done well, you know. It's just maintenance on it really. The rest of the interior of the hairdryer looks absolutely perfect. So yeah, it's done well, and it's done all right. So that's about it really. It's tested, it's working, and it's all fine now. So thanks for watching.